putting his lead now at 34 pins. Those one-shot frames, Nelson, are really something. And to see 12 in a row last week. And, you know, here is the odds. We don't know about that. But through today, in 25 years, 4,549 games have been bowled on television since the last 300 in 1974.
Ooh, wow. The odds for the general public are better than 1,000,000 to 1 they used to be. I think it's down to 300,000 to 1.
All right, a five-bagger now. 6 strikes in 7 frames for Ferraro, leading by 44. We'll be back.
You know, I always wondered, why does Miller High Life come in a clear bottle? Boy, did I ever find out.
It shows the quality and the purity in our beer.
It's a natural process. No shortcuts. We don't cut corners.
One reason for the clear bottle was to show purity, but there was another one, too.
This is dark roasted barley malt.
I found out that roasted malt makes Miller darker.
You really can see the difference.
It makes a lot of sense. When you make a beer that looks dark and rich, you put it in a clear bottle, so everyone can see it. Now, in my book, that's the American way.
Enter the $50,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions sweepstakes, and you could win a trip to the Tournament of Champions, where you'll be paired with one of the 5 finalists. And if he wins, you win up to $25,000. Come to Firestone for your sweepstakes entry form, which is also an instant winner card. And everybody's a winner. You could win a free Master Care tune-up, alignment, shocks, brakes, discount coupons, and more. Enter the Tournament of Champions sweepstakes at Firestone today. You could win a trip to the tournament and up to $25,000 cash.
World champion Debbie Thomas defends her national crown live. Plus the Women's Slalom World Championship on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Coming up next.
The Metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth and Grand Prairie, long been a bastion of bowling, and Jeannie Halsey has really packed them in here this week for this event. High hit strike. 116. Through the 6th, strike up in the 7th for Dennis Jakes. He needs several more.
Jakes gets a great break. The 2-pin goes to sideboard, trips out the 4-7, the 3 the sideboard, and trips out the 6-10 on the right-hand part of the screen. Jakes checking out the scoreboard. Right now, he has a potential 236 game if he can strike out. Dave Ferraro going at a 240 pace. The match is still up for grabs if Jakes can strike here.
Come on, carry.
Finally, the pins listen. So now Ferraro's lead is cut to 34 pins, but time is running out. Here's a man with 5 in a row.
Never a doubt about this strike of Dennis Jakes, the powerful guy. Good concentration. Come on, ball. Boom. He's still back in the match. Ferraro up, leads by 34, 8th frame.
Happy with it? Only the 6-pin.
Gets a very good break right here where Jakes has put a little pressure on David. David pulls the ball on the right-hand lane, breaks up the 6-7. If he converts this spare, he will have a 33-pin lead through 8 frames.
Okay, and the winner of this match will meet Richard Bramwell, a non-winner from Escondido, California, then Brian Voss, 2-time winner from Tacoma, Washington. Tournament leader has yet to win. His name is Ron Williams from Illinois.
The pre-shot preparation of Dave Ferraro. You saw him pick up that rosin bag, that yellow bag, wipes the oil or conditioner off the surface of the ball, which is a good idea for anyone so it doesn't affect the next shot. Carefully sets his feet on the approach, blows in that thumb hole to get the moisture out. He's up in the 9th frame, leads by 33.
A 7.
Wow! Hits light in the 1-3 and drives that 5-pin right against the sideboard. He expected this strike, but not to be. Ball hits the 1-3. Now watch the ball hit the 5. There it goes. Normally it'll take out the 7. David drives it right in front of the 7-pin. He will maintain his lead, but Jakes has an opening.
Isn't our camera work sensational? Cameraman, take you right to where the impact, where the violence happens in bowling. Whew.
This man needs this strike. He cannot win the match without a strike here in the 9th frame. Strike here in the 9th, he can close the gap down to just 22 pins.
Come on.
There's the fighter who in a 6-year PBA membership career has 3 victories, nearly $250,000 earned.
One of the most powerful strike balls on the PBA Tour. Jakes uses that big body, that strong lift of the wrist to overpower those pins. He's in the position now. He can possibly win the match. He can cut the lead to 12 with another one. 10th frame. Disappointed. He thought he had that one. The 6-pin doesn't quite get up on the 10-pin. He says, boy, it's there, it's going to get it. Give me a break.
At least I didn't miss attention this time.
Dennis Jakes, the best he can finish with is 2:15, has bowled an excellent game, especially from the 5th frame on. Dave Ferraro with that early lead looks like he's going to hang on.
Doesn't make any difference.
So the 2-8 and a 2-13 for Dennis Jakes, a name to remember. He certainly will be back.
Ferraro just needs 3 pins on the first ball to lock up the match, and he'll go on to bowl Richard Bramwell, a player we have never before seen in front of our cameras at BBC.
All right, there is your winner. For Dennis Jakes, it's a check for $5,500. We'll be back here in the old and the new west of Grand Prairie, Texas, when our second match will be coming up. We'll also give you the complete final score. But first, shoot 'em up. The Professional Bowlers Tour is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. Quaker State people reaching for the best. By Miller High Life. Miller made the American way since 1855. And by Firestone, America's home for car service with over 1,700 locations coast to coast. The Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message and a word from our local station.
A jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Oh, try this. Sidex, I need help now.
You've got it. Hit this when you feel it.
1 second.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, it's strong decongestant, keeps you breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours.
Whoa!
Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
Everything looks different in winter.
You don't.
Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler.
It's wet, and it's dry, and it's Seagram's. Remember?
I thought it was just a line you use in summer.
Some things outlast the summer.
Like?
Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler.
Anything else?
Be patient.
I was.
Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler. It's wet and it's dry.
On the Disney Sunday movie,
What are you doing?
He steals slaves.
Come on, Dennis!
they rescue slaves from bondage. The Liberators, Sunday.
Oh, hi there. Say, you know, I've really gotten into bowling, as you can see. It's lots of fun, and you don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. The nice folks at Windward, Leeward, and Cleahey Bowl have everything you need. It's great exercise and so inexpensive that you can treat the gang to a sandwich at the snack bar. You're gonna love bowling, so why don't you drop in?
The new Mitsubishi Mighty Max, patiently crafted to be serious fun for the money. Only $64.59. Mighty Max gives you more standard features than Toyota, Nissan, or Mazda. And with a 5-speed manual overdrive transmission, tilt steering, double wall cargo box, and more, it's still priced lower than all three. The Mitsubishi Mighty Max. When you're ready for some serious fun for the money, it's ready to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
Together.
He He needs a mark of any type. If he strikes on this ball or spares in the 10th, look at him talking to himself. He needs a mark to win. He's there. He left a solid 4-9 split on an apparent good hit. He must make this to win. If he doesn't make it, Durbin is the winner. Oh! Durbin's the winner.
Durbin is the winner. Okay, Mike Edwards of Tulsa and Mike Durbin, who now is in the Dallas, Texas area. 238 for Dave Ferraro over Dennis Jakes. 238 while we were away, a strike and a solid 10, marking with that final spare. At 7 strikes total, and now he will go against a person that you may enjoy watch bowling, a unique style, Richard Bramwell. There he is on the right, a Californian who's looking for his first win. And Bo, 21 years old.
Chris, he learned through the junior leagues, went into the senior leagues at the age of 15 or 16, has matured as a pro in the last year, was very tough in the 24-man finals.
Like that. He's 5'7", 145 pounds, replay over the shoulder. Watch the right side.
It looks like he disjoints his right shoulder. He opens it up, then tucks that arm swing, and then closes that shoulder. It almost hurts me to watch it from here, then gets a good uplift with the ball. Excellent shot to open the match. Solid in the pocket. Two styles of ball roll that are similar. Ferraro down and in, and Bramwell straight down and in.
Leaving a 10-pin, the man that shot a 238 to Dennis Jakes, 213 to get into our second match. Winner of this game, if you just joined us, will meet Brian Voss of Tacoma, Washington. Then the tournament leader, Ron Williams.
The championship pair here at Forum Lanes in Grand Prairie, Texas, 39 and 40 in a 60-lane bowling establishment, hosted every year by Jeannie Halsey. And the championship pair is picked. Many people ask, how do we pick the championship pair? It's just simply, we pick it up at the high end of the house where our cameras can shoot across a panoramic view, better visibility for everybody in the bowling center. Ferraro spare in the first, up in the second.
Beautifully done. Here at Forum, Jeannie Halsey, the proprietor, opened the doors 13 years ago today. So it's a happy anniversary to Jeannie. And for this man, he wants to win his first right here.
Richard Bramwell has paid his dues on the tour. He's been out here for a couple of years. He's gained experience, gained maturity. This is his first opportunity at being a winner.
This previous high was 2 weeks ago. He was 6th at the Showbat Invitational.
5-step delivery. Bramwell extended push away. A high backswing. Look at him open that shoulder. Look at the position that thumb is turned completely outward. He tucks it back under. Very conventional at the bottom of the swing. Good uplift and tremendous follow-through as he starts with a quick double. He has Ferraro down by 10 through just 2 frames.
A 7-pin.
Richard Bramwell leaves a swishing 7, kept the ball in play, and that's really the difference between the scoring this week and last week, the inability to carry the pins. Now you see Bramwell, now watch that shoulder. He opens it up completely, closes it before he commits his arm swing. That's the important thing. He closes the shoulder, lets the swing come by the leg. Easy spare, he'll maintain a 9-pin lead.
Byron Nelson and his new bride, Peggy Simmons Nelson. Glad to have them here.
The man who won 11 consecutive pro golf tournaments and 18 tournaments in 1 year, the year 1945, one of the greatest that ever lived. Great guy.
Great friend.
Ferraro to take the lead.
Shows very little emotion, this young man from Kingston, New York.
Dave Ferraro, the highway patrol shot on the right lane. 10 in the first frame, 4 in the third frame. 10-4. Will trail by 9 pins with the conversion.
Starting slow, but he came on in that first victory, remember? And look at this. Pete McCordick of Houston, Texas, who had the perfect 300 game last week. Leading money winner, Del Ballard, another Texan from this area, 101,500. So on down the line. Big year for the earning of money.
That's for sure, Chris. That's just the month of January. When I was out there bowling steady, that was a year's earning, or even less than that. Tremendous improvements with the PBA Tour.
Second strike in 4 frames for the first game winner, Dave Ferraro. This one going against Richard Bramwell. Will return.
Wendy's presents hot and juicy hamburgers. If you've ever had a dry, chewy hamburger, you're gonna love Wendy's hot and juicy hamburgers. Wendy's new big classic, soft Kaiser roll, juicy meat, juicy toppings, and lots of napkins.
Why do 32 million Americans protect their engines with Quaker State motor oil? Because they're car-caring people who want only the best for their engines. Here, Quaker State quality stands up to the constant pounding, heat, and friction that breaks down motor oil. You can see Quaker State quality, the pure protection that comes from our state-of-the-art formula that can't be beat.
It's the first leg of what could be $1 million bonus, the $150,000 Miller Lite Classic on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
Handsome Brian Voss, winner of 2 championships. He'll make his 15th television appearance, meeting the winner of the game that we're bringing you right now. Richard Bramwell is up, looking for his first win. He's tired of the Rabbit squad at qualifying on Monday. He'd also like to be eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. That high hit produced a 4, 6, 10 disaster.
Richard Bramwell going high here in the 4th frame to give Dave Ferraro the potential lead. You see the ball just cutting right through the heart of the pins. The 1, 2, 3 driven straight back. For Richard should just go for the 6-10, and he would trail in the match by just a few pins.
All right. Showing some seasoning. 75 now through the 4th. He'll be shooting on the left lane as Brian Voss continues to warm up for the next game. You hear the pin fall to our right. Now getting a little more tentative, taking his time. Set on the approach now.
Richard made a tremendous charge to make the top 24 his last 3 games. 269, 267, 248 as he made a charge into the top 24 and ultimately the top 5.
Beautiful. Remember, that one coming after a disastrous open frame. Ferraro leading by 5 pins with a strike up, shooting on the right lane.
Construction of these lanes here in Grand Prairie are all wood lanes. Maple in the front, pine after the 19-foot mark on the lane, and the right-hand lane hooks about 2 boards more than the left. Lane 40, the one that Dave Ferraro is up on right now.
Very, very graceful drop. Here's a replay.
Watch the action of the 2-pin. It goes to the sideboard, the left sideboard. Bumps out the 4, then the 7. Now watch the 4-pin. Now it takes 4 seconds from the time the ball strikes the first pin till the machine comes in play. Now watch it. 3.5 seconds, just in time.
A 9-pin to remember. Ferraro.
That was a big hit. Can extend his lead to 25.
Meanwhile, what about Gloria Ferraro? Well, she's been watching along with you. And we hope you'll be watching immediately following the Professional Bowlers Tour for today's Wide World of Sports, United States Figure Skating Championships and the Women's Slalom World Championship from Switzerland.
In the figure skating's Tiffany Chin, who just missed winning an Olympic medal in '84, looks excellent this year, so she should be a top contender. Here's Bramwell to cut the lead down to 15.
All right, with that double. And Debbie Thomas, the current world champion. She is leading going into that final long program for the ladies.
Should be exciting. And of course, the downhill. The downhill with, the slalom with Tamara McKinney. She's always excellent in that. Now let's see how Richard Bramwell attacks this lane. Fingertip grip. Sets those fingers into the hole down the first knuckle. Index finger against the middle finger. Needs this strike to cut the lead to 5.
And comes up with the bucket.
The characteristic of the championship pair showing up here under the pressure. The left-hand lane not finishing as he leaves the 2, 4, 5, and 8. You see the delivery. Opens the shoulder, closes it, snaps that wrist, but he's not playing the lane properly. You must adjust to the lane surface. He needs to move a little to the right on the left-hand lane and play a little less hook on the right-hand lane. Good shot.
We're in our second match with a 19-pin lead. The winner of the first game, Dave Ferraro. More action, but first this.
When the temperature drops below 30, remember the spark plug that's tested to start below 0. Champion, we go to ridiculous extremes to test the reliability of our spark plugs.
You can save a little anytime, but during Dollar Dazzlers at True Value Hardware stores, you can save a lot on hundreds of household supplies. There are nearly 200 items priced under $5 each, like electrical needs. Stock up on hand tools. Cooking is easy with the right kitchen addition. Redecorate with these painting accessories and clean up with household helpers, all priced under $5 each. So fill your house with savings from the Dollar Dazzler Circular and most True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
The college hoop action continues. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame charge into Kansas to meet Danny Manning and the Jayhawks on ABC's College Basketball tomorrow.
College basketball continuing on ABC tomorrow. What a game. Kansas, Notre Dame. What a bowler. Dave Ferraro, 19-pin lead, has strung 3, now shooting in the 7th frame. 4-bagger. Almost a same pattern as his first victory, 238 to 213 over Dennis Jakes.
The experience of Dave Ferraro. He gets that great break in the 5th frame where he tripped the 4-pin into the 9 to extend it to a double and avoid the split that was the downfall of Richard Bramwell in the 4th frame. Ferraro makes the adjustment, throws the ball more out on the lane, a little more loft on the right-hand lane, a little more speed, and now he's just stroking the ball on the left-hand lane. He has this pair zeroed in.
Come on.
5 in a row. His wife, Gloria. Agreeing with it all with the nod of the head.
Here's a man who has his back to the wall in his first championship round of appearance. He trails by 39, still has a chance to win the tournament, but he must strike here in the 8th, 9th, and 10th frames.
There's one.
Richard checks the overhead scoreboard. His potential is 231 if he can strike 4 more times. Dave Ferraro, as he was in the first match, going at a 239 pace. The match is still up for grabs, but the pressure is definitely on Bramwell. He must have this strike in the 9th.
1 left to 10.
Richard just tried to get as much power on the ball as he possibly could. The ball didn't finish all the way solid in the pocket. 6-pin lays down the channel, doesn't take out the 10. Richard has a major problem right here. The best he can do is 211. Ferraro's in the driver's seat.
This action coming to you from the Quaker State Open. Been with us 11 consecutive years as a corporate sponsor of this event in Grand Prairie, Texas. 5 in a row, leading by 39, 9th frame. A 4.
Ferraro with that down and in, very little hook shot that he's using on both the lanes here, has kept the ball in play, and looks like he has this match well in hand. A spare right here would shut out Richard Bramwell. Dave Ferraro would go on to then meet the very tough man in the semifinal, Brian Voss. Right now, Dave Ferraro has 209 locked up through 9 frame. He just needs 2 pins on 2 balls to shut out Richard Bramwell. Just stay in the building, David. You'll be in the next match.
A young man that thought about becoming a harness driver. As the Ferraro family raised trotters as well as pacers. Okay, here in Grand Prairie, Texas, another Western shootout will be coming up when veteran Brian Voss will meet Dave Ferraro in the semifinal game.
You're not going to get me.
I've taken enough from punks like you.
Now it's time for our bowling tip of the week with Nelson Burton Jr. Bo tests your knowledge of the game. The Professional Bowlers Tour tip of the week is brought to you by Old Spice deodorant and antiperspirant deodorant. We give 24-hour protection.
Hey, Pete, you interfered with my shot.
No, I didn't. I was just rooting out my shot.
Hey, Mark, what's the problem
Hey,
here?
Bo, you interfered with my shot.
What happened, Pete?
No, I was just rooting out my shot. That's all.
Well, you saw it. Is Mark entitled to another shot? Was he interfered with? We'll be back with the answer after this.
Once guys try the 24-hour protection of Old Spice Solid, they may give up their usual antiperspirant mid-stick.
Your dad only used twice. Very short strokes.
Fact is, none of these solid antiperspirants help stop wetness as well as Old Spice Solid. These deodorant sprays can't block odor better than Old Spice Stick. So switch now.
Sarge, for you. Hardly used.
Kind of like your comb.
Switch to 24-hour Old Spice, antiperspirant or deodorant.
If your answer was no, you are correct. Mark Roth is not entitled to another shot.
Why?
Mark, American Bowling Congress rules state that unless there is physical interference, you do not get another shot. However, if Peter had touched you before you released the ball, then you could have either taken the resulting pinfall or taken the shot over.
Another big game here in Grand Prairie, Texas for Dave Ferraro. 239 when we were away, left to 4, covered it. For Bramwell, he to 467, chopped to 4 off and shot a 186. Ferraro with 7 strikes, and now he'll go against veteran Brian Voss. And there he is, continuing to warm up, talking now to Ferraro. While we have a moment, let's get up close and personal with this 28-year-old native of Tacoma, Washington. 2 victories to his credit, looking for his 3rd. In Tacoma, Washington, at the base of awesome Mount Rainier, we visited the home of fast-rising bowling star Brian Voss.
When I get home from tour, I like to get away from the bowling scene. I like to play a little tennis right behind my apartment here. I got a little court that I play on. I'm not very good at that also, but just something to get away from the bowling scene. A little ping pong, a little basketball. Got a hoop right over there. It's enjoyable. I have a relationship with a lady named Kathy Schlegel who influenced me to begin a modeling career. It's kind of difficult because of the work that I do. I'm only available for 3 months of the year, but I'm very conscious about my weight and the way I look all the time, but which is what you really should be doing when you're in the public's eye. It's exciting, and I think if I had a little more time, I could really pursue it in a professional manner. It's unfortunate that I couldn't do it year long.
Just a super guy. He is loved by all that meet him, especially the ladies. Get a good close-up of him, you can see why. Brian Voss, we welcome him back to our telecast, and we welcome this opportunity to ask Bo, what is the format of a PBA tournament?
For standard national PBA tournaments, obviously Wednesday, 12 games of qualifying, 6 more games Thursday morning, then the top 24 going to 8 games of match play Thursday afternoon and evening, and Friday, 16 more games of match play. The top 5 advance to the championship round. Sometimes on Monday we have a Pro Tour qualifier that's not up there, and definitely on Tuesday we have the Pro-Am, where all the amateurs have a chance to bowl with the pros.
Here's how you ask Bo. Send your card or letter to Post Office Box 951, radio station, New York, New York, 10019. There you see the expanse of this tremendous bowling establishment. It is beautiful, and it's been the home of the Quaker State Open, and we're delighted to come here each year. Refreshing. This match should be interesting for all of you to watch.
Brian Voss, excuse me, Chris, the higher finisher of these two players has chosen to finish the match. In other words, he's going to make Dave Ferraro start, figuring that Brian Voss can finish on the left-hand lane. He figures that's the easier of the 2 lanes. So Voss has the strategy of finishing first.
There's the first smile of the afternoon for a 2-time winner, 238 and 239.
2-pin to the sideboard. Dave Ferraro has used this shot very well today. 2-pin taps out the 4. Goodbye 9-pin. He gets a strike instead of avoiding a disaster split, the 4-9.
In his 15th television appearance, Brian Voss. About as direct as you can get to that pocket. We're even.
Voss with that 4-step delivery, a little bit different than most of the pros. He has a strong enough delivery to get away with it. Deep knee bend, just classic style. High follow through in perfect position. Obviously got a perfect result. Week's average 220 for the 42 games. He has been bowling so well for the last 2 years. I went on an 18-city tour of Florida with him. He averaged 225 in all 18 cities just 2 years ago. Great talent.
And now he has a double. And a lot of fans here for him, behind him.
Voss with that powerful rolling ball drives the 5 over into the 4-7. Head pin takes out the 7. Tremendous pin action. He's happy with it. He has the lead. Very important for Brian to start quickly. His downfall and some of his losses on television have been an inability to get out of the gate. He started with a double this time, so it's going to be a very tough match. Ferraro, as you well know, has bowled over 2 opponents, 238 and 239.
High hit on the right lane, leaving the 6-10.
Interesting reaction of Dave Ferraro. He gave it what we call the chicken wing sign. He felt like he pulled that ball, and he may have, but the lane also is hooking quite a bit more, and if he doesn't make an adjustment on that lane in this match, the advantage will go to Voss.
Big advantage for Voss now after that open, chopping the 10 off the 6. Tough.
It is not written in stone that a player must change balls to make spares. Dave Ferraro, although he's had an excellent year so far, does something that I just don't agree with, and that's changing balls for spares to help convert them. Simple reason being the grip does not feel the same, and you don't have the same type of ball reaction. He has missed the spare. Gloria obviously upset about it. Ferraro trails by 22 in the early going.
ejected. And now Brian Voss, who has a double-up shooting in the third frame. 28 years old, 5'10", 160 pounds. Last year, TV final 6 times without a win. A lot of seconds and thirds. Three-bagger. Leaders by rounds. Their Texans started out strong. Bo?
Eddie Kelly, somewhat unknown from Texas, led the 18-game qualifying round. Ron Williams, our current tournament leader, took over the lead. Brian Voss pushed him a little bit. Williams caught him in the last 8 games Friday night. Now we're down to just 3 players. Brian Voss, Dave Ferraro in the semifinal. Our tournament leader, the unorthodox Ron Williams, looking for his first victory, is the tournament leader.
Ed Kelly finishing 19th. He's from Amarillo. Oh, yes. 4 in a row. With a 4-bagger up and leading by 42, we're going to take a break and then come back.
The 87 Yugos are here, and people love them.
I think it's fun to drive.
I like the rack and pinion steering.
We wanted a dependable second car. It's easy to love America's most affordable new car, the $39.90 Yugo GV. And now there's even more value during Yugo's Pack for Action sale. You can get sport wheel covers, a right side mirror, roof rack.
Great.
And a 3-year, 50,000-mile extended service plan.
Wow.
All at terrific savings.
I'll take it.
Hurry, this offer won't last long. See your participating Yugo dealer today.
Anybody can see that Miller High Life looks darker and richer than the other leading premium. And the people at Miller showed me why.
This is where it all starts.
Now tell me about this.
This is barley.
I saw how barley becomes malt.
What we have here is dark roasted barley malt.
And the roasted malt Miller blends in to make their beer darker.
You really can see the difference.
I learned a lot from these people. And if making a beer that's dark and rich is the American way, I'd say Miller's doing a pretty good job of it.
It's the first leg of what could be a $1 million bonus, the $150,000 Miller Lite Classic on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
Dave Ferraro won the first 2 matches, 238 and 239, trails by 42 as a result of an open second frame. Here he is in the 4th strike-up. Good time to start a comeback.
Big frame Ferraro. He has to make the adjustment on this lane to stay in the match. And he does.
Yes. Last night he converted a critical 5-7 in the last match to qualify. We asked him if that momentum carries over to this afternoon.
Well, I think so. I think it'll give me a little more confidence. I've been struggling in match play, and this tournament kind of gave me a little boost. I won 17 out of 24 matches, and I think it's going to help with today's match.
And he performed so well in the clutch as the very tough David Houston pushed him to the last frame.
It has come back. That's 3 in a row. 22 pins separating these two. There is Jeannie Halsey, proprietor. 13th anniversary of this establishment today.
And Forum Bowl, the famous establishment. Just a little anecdote here. The sign outside in front says F-O-R-U-M, but the R is burnt out. And I said, finally they got it by sounding like Texas. Forum Bowl. That's it. They got the spelling right. Voss, 4 strikes in a row to start the game. Leads by 22.
All right, the 2-5 for the poster boy.
Voss just sending the ball a little bit wide, not pulling the ball, which is important that he keeps it from that high hit. Leaves the 2-5. Once again, he must guard against chopping the 2 pins straight back off the 5. With this spare, he would continue to lead by 20.
Okay, don't forget tomorrow, live at 2 Eastern, Notre Dame versus Kansas. Game originating in Lawrence. Real battle. 2 fine teams.
Well, what Notre Dame team is going to show up? The one that beat North Carolina, upset North Carolina last week, or the one that sometimes falls by the wayside to almost any team that shows up? Be interesting battle.
Here's the real Brian Voss.
For sure. Through 5 frames, leads by 20.
2, 4, 5, 8 on the left lane.
The profile of Brian Voss on the championship round has been start slow, finish strong. Today he has started very strong the first 4 frames with strikes and has gotten a bit tentative here in the 5th and 6th frames as he leaves the 2, 5 in the 5th, the 2, 4, 5, and 8 pins here in the 6th. Has lost 6 pins in count and must convert this spare to keep pressure on Ferraro.
There is Brian's mom coming in from Grand Junction, Colorado, Diane.
Last time she was at a tournament was when Brian performed so well in the Firestone. She's anxious to see her son garner a victory here, but he has a tough opponent in Dave Ferraro, who has made the adjustment on the right-hand lane here. He struck there in the 4th frame. He can cut the lead of Voss down to just 6 pins with an additional strike, number 4.
And then the 4-9.
The gunning David Ferraro. He had lived by tripping the 2-pin out of the 4-pin and into the 7-pin. Now he has a problem where he must take the 4-pin and slide it right over into the 9-pin. That's a shot he's been carrying for strikes. Now he must carry this split to stay in the match.
Those odds 8-1. Last night converting the 5-7 to get to the number 4 spot in this final round of 5 this afternoon, but not the 4-9. Second open frame, Bo.
Within a 1/4 of an inch, watch the 4-pin. He slides it right behind the 9-pin. Not to be. Ferraro through 6 frames, now trails by 30. But this young man can come back from anywhere. He has got a lot of confidence, can throw a lot of strikes, so the match is still up for grabs.
Can he come back? That was a strike in the 7th frame, trailing by 30 pins against Brian Voss. More after this.
Once upon a time, millions of us roamed the bathrooms of America.
We're bull shavers, convinced we had to use shavers with all kinds of expensive extras.
But we don't pay an arm and a hoof anymore, 'cause us bull shavers are becoming
Bic shavers. Bic gives us an extraordinary shave at an extraordinary price, without bells or whistles. To pay more makes you, well, bullheaded. Try the Bic for normal or sensitive skin, and you, too, will have a beef.
With bull shaving.
Today's most popular software programs come to life in the Tandy 1000 computer. A computer with 50% faster clock speed than the IBM PC. Tandy engineered desk-mate software, executed through the microprocessor command center, makes the Tandy 1000 incredibly easy to use. See the Tandy 1000 family of value-priced personal computers only at Radio Shack.
Kristen Green, Miss Grand Prairie, hoping to become Miss Texas and then go to Atlantic City. Good set of pipes. Sounds like a nightingale.
And she has the right color on today. Quaker State Green, got the right name. Brian Voss, 7th frame, leads by 30 pins, has a spare working.
Yes, that's another dancing strike. Coming on the right lane, 144 through the 6th, a strike in the 7th. Watch.
Voss hits light. Watch the action of the head pin. It goes to sideboard, takes out the 4, 7, and 5 pins. Look at that 5 pin still dancing on the deck. Obviously, the story today has been the man who can conquer the right-hand lane. Voss has not gotten in trouble. Ferraro, as you can obviously see by that split in the 6th frame, has been his undoing so far. Voss can take a commanding lead with a double here in the 8th.
A 10-pin.
The left-hand lane not finishing quite as much as the right. Voss gets the ball in the 1-3, drives the ball through the 5 and 9, but not to be as the 6-pin lays in the channel and doesn't take out the 10. With this conversion, Voss would be going at a 2:24 pace.
Lots of speed, cross lane, covering the 10. All right, now 27-year-old Dave Ferraro. Dave and his brother Steve and his dad Jack own Ferraro's Mid-City Lanes in Kingston, but last Sunday the roof on the bowl caved in 8 feet. Luckily, nobody was in the building at the time. Going to be closed anywhere from 2 to 3 months. Woo.
He said the roof's being held up with a crane. They had 2 13-inch snowfalls within a week. That's the reason. Ferraro in a must situation.
Winner of the first 2 games. Double now. 20 pins separating the 2.
What a marvelous shot by Dave Ferraro. He had been all over the place on this right-hand lane. Remember, in the second frame, he came in high, got a split. Then in the 6th frame, he left the 4-9, made the adjustment. Now he can cut the lead of Brian Voss down to just 10 pins in the 9th frame.
Our statistician, as usual, Palmer Falgren, who finished 61st. But he's promised Bo and me that he will be on the telecast next week.
Down to Miami. Big shot right here. Ferraro must have it. Yes.
Look at that. What a competitor. 238 in the first game, 7 strikes. 239 in his second victory, 7 strikes. And here he is stringing them again.
Here's where a professional bowler earns his paycheck when it comes down to the crucial 9th and 10th frames. Obviously, Dave Ferraro likes that shot. He had a deficit of 30 pins just 3 frames ago, has closed that gap down to just 10, has put the pressure back on Brian Voss. 9th frame.
Then hit 2-5.
A tentative release by Voss as he leaves the 2-5 once again. That's the same spare that he had in the 5th frame, coming off 4 strikes in a row. Just barely sliding by the strike zone, nips the head pin, takes out the 4 and 7s pins, and leaves the 2-5. Once again, he uses an attack down the left side, a lot of speed, hopefully to avoid the chop and maintain his lead.
Man that last year, 6 finals, finished 4th 3 times, 2nd twice. He's had it tough.
Well, Brian is in excellent physical shape. He bowls well all the time as he takes a re-rack coming here into the 10th frame. And people ask why the 9th frame is so important. Well, obviously, if Ferraro hadn't struck in the 9th frame, he'd have been almost out of the match. And Voss, with a strike in the 9th frame, could have come up in the 10th and shut out Ferraro. So that's why we call it the pivotal or crucial 9th frame. Once again, now, Voss leads by 8 pins. Cannot shut out Ferraro. No matter what happens, Ferraro has a chance to win in the 10th.
A 4-7. Just trying so hard in this match today.
Tough customer, that Dave Ferraro, to give a free shot at you, and that's what's exactly going to happen. Brian Voss trying to adjust for that half 10 or weak 10 in the 8th frame, uses a little less speed and doesn't get just the right break, but leaves himself an easy spare, the 4-7.
Ejected.
It's not over. Voss can still win the tournament, but the determination of who's going to win this match is all in Dave Ferraro right there. That man sitting on the bench's hands. The prospect for Voss, the maximum 220 with a strike.
And it was a powerful one at that. 220 for Brian Voss of Tacoma, Washington. 6 strikes.
The prospects for Dave Ferraro are simply this. He must strike on this ball and get a count above 7 in the spare to win the match. Not very much of a possibility of a tie, but the winner will be determined on this shot. He must strike to advance against Ron Williams for the tournament championship.
Would you believe a 6-7?
Unfortunately for David, he needed that strike to win the match. A seemingly unperturbed Brian Voss realizes he has won the match and will advance against Ron Williams for the title. Good try, but to no avail.
220 to 198. Those killing open frames. Brian Voss. Special Bowlers World Tour will continue after this message and a word from our local station.
Why do 32 million Americans protect their engines with Quaker State motor oil? Because they're car-caring people who want only the best for their engines. Here, Quaker State quality stands up to the constant pounding, heat, and friction that breaks down motor oil. You can see Quaker State quality, the pure protection that comes from our state-of-the-art formula that can't be beat.
The Fuller family finished 4 fried foods, and this is the fullest the Fullers have ever felt. Alka-Seltzer to the rescue. Alka-Seltzer fixes your acid indigestion and headache in a flash.
Alka-Seltzer to the rescue.
Pete Rose just got tough.
Because now I use Tegrin medicated shampoo. Head and Shoulders, not tough enough. Tegrin's 4 times tough on all 4 major causes of flaking and itching. Get 4 times tough with Tegrin.
Sunday, a network television premiere. It's the smash hit movie that took them all by surprise. Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas, and Danny DeVito romancing the Stones.
If you've never driven Mitsubishi Galant, get ready to soothe your nervous system. Mitsubishi Galant, patiently crafted to keep an impatient world at a comfortable distance. Mitsubishi.
Oh, hi there. Say, you know, I've really gotten into bowling, as you can see. It's lots of fun, and you don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. The nice folks at Windward, Leeward, and Cleanhy Bowl have everything you need. It's great exercise and so inexpensive that you can treat the gang to a sandwich at the snack bar. You're gonna love bowling, so why don't you drop in?
Together.
Brian Voss of Tacoma has ended the streak of Dave Ferraro of Kingston, New York, with a 226 strikes. Ferraro's 198, plagued by the opens, 3 open frames. Now, against a non-winner, Ron Williams, it'll be Voss.
160-man field. Average for everybody in the field, 206, 216 to make the top 24. 53 players cashed this week. And here are some of the other players that made the top 24. Del Warren, who'll be home in Florida next week. David Houston, close. Jimmy Miller, Craig Rourke, Chris Goddard, big guy, doing very well. David Traver, big. Mark Fay, powerful guy up there. Mark Baker getting this game together. Deadeye, Walter Ray Williams. Chuck Pierce at 298 this week. John Janelle, dapper Tom Baker. Crankin' Bob Hanley. Eddie Kelly, early leader. Bob Benoit. Paz Marzik up there, $1,700, a powerful player. One of the top players, Amleto Monicelli, Jim Pensick, and Don Ritchie round out the top 24.
Here in the land of cowboys and car girls. From the Quaker State Open, we're down to the final match. $27,000 to the winner, $14,000 to the runner-up. A man that has yet to win. His best was 5th last year in Las Vegas at the Showboat Invitational. 25-year-old Ron Williams. First shot. That's them all. Pressure is off somewhat on the non-winner, Ron Williams. And here is Voss with a 220 to Ferraro's 198, looking for his 3rd win in a 5-year career.
Brian Voss, who learned to bowl in his father's bowling establishment in Anchorage, Alaska. His dad was a career Army man who managed the bowling center up there.
How to be greeted, 4, 6, 7, 10.
The story at the Quaker State Open, 1987 version, is the right-hand lane. Can anybody hit the right-hand lane? Voss is up quickly just to try to knock off 2 pins here. Big mistake right there. Never give away a pin early in the match.
And he knows it.
Just throws the ball very hard. He tries to actually bounce these 6 and 10 pins out to knock out the 4-7. Takes an early gamble. I don't think it's worth it that early in the match. Voss needs a win to qualify for the Firestone, as does Ron Williams. Mark Baker, who made the top 24 this week, will be out.
Good comeback, second frame. And with a strike up, Ron Williams, the tournament leader. Least he can do today is win $14,000. More important is a victory.
Ron, who still bowls in league in the St. Louis area. He's from Cahokia, Illinois, which is just across the Mississippi River. Bowls in league with his team at home when he's off the tour, and does a great job.
The most unusual style of Williams, leaving a 2-5. Almost looks like he's trying to throw a screwball in baseball. Watch.
Very true, Chris. Watch how he takes that ball outside, but now he rectifies the whole swing as he drops that right shoulder and arm right next to his hip and releases the ball in perfect position.
Error number 2, one for each bowler now.
And there is Josephine Williams, Ron's mother, who Chris survived a severe automobile accident last year, and she told me when she flew down here she has steel plates in her knees, steel plates in her shoulder. And I says, how did you get through the letter detector? She says, they had to put me on the conveyor belt to get me through. Hoping that her son can win his first PBA title.
We're glad with that camera shot that erased some of the tension off her face. Little 9-10.
A tentative Ron Williams in the early going here has gone high on the left-hand lane, has left the 9-10 split. The ball crosses to the left side of the head pin and just kind of pushes the 8 pins on the left side of the lane down, leaving the somewhat easy split, if there's such a thing, the 9-10. He needs this to stay in the lead.
And again, a chop. Back-to-back open frames, 37 through the third for Williams, the tournament leader. Voss leading by 10, can increase it to 20 with a strike here in the third. It's our final match in the Quaker State Open.
Who can hit the right-hand lane? Voss struggling. Let's see if he's made an adjustment.
Another 2-5.
Now, what do? You're up here bowling a championship match. You've won one game. You come up, you throw the ball, what you feel is pretty good, and it goes high. You leave it split. You get a strike on the left-hand lane. You make the adjustment. Now you're light. What I would do, and experienced top pros would do, was go back to where they left the split and throw the ball as hard as they can. They only have 3 frames left on this lane.
Brian Voss, if you just joined us, got into the finals with a victory over Dave Ferraro, 220 to 198. Diane Voss from Grand Junction, Colorado.
One of the keys that a player must work with is when he's having trouble with one lane, don't lose the other lane. Voss must concentrate on keeping lined up here on the left-hand lane. Good shot.
Gone through 3.5 frames in our championship match. Voss in the lead by 10. We'll be back.
Enter the $50,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions sweepstakes, and you could win a trip to the Tournament of Champions, where you'll be paired with one of the 5 finalists. And if he wins, you win up to $25,000. Come to Firestone for your sweepstakes entry form, which is also an instant winner card. And everybody's a winner. You could win a free MasterCare tune-up, alignment, shocks, brakes, discount coupons, and more. Enter the Tournament of Champions sweepstakes at Firestone today. You could win a trip to the tournament and up to $25,000 cash.
I'm 80 years old, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults are coming forward to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
I eat them, I love them, and I don't care who knows.
With that extra crunch and milk, that frosting just right, they have a taste adults can love every bit as much as kids.
Go ahead, Shirley. You can do it.
I love them, thank you.
Oh, what more can you say? Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
The college hoop action continues. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame charge into Kansas to meet Danny Manning and the Jayhawks on ABC's College Basketball tomorrow.
Ron Williams trailing by 10, open with a strike, has 2 open frames now shooting in the 4th against Brian Voss. Beautifully done. More like it for the 25-year-old from Cahokia. They're descendants of the legendary Jim Thorpe. His son, Bill on the right, and Billy Jr. on the left, who carried the flag at the 84 opening ceremonies along with the granddaughter of Jesse Owens, Gina Hemphill. Glad to have them here.
The father and grandfather, as many people well know, considered to be one of the greatest athletes of all times. Ron Williams, fifth frame, can even the match with a strike.
Beautiful. And next week, we will again renew a friendship with a man with a different kind of swing, Don Carter, at his lanes.
Will be at Don Carter Kendall Lanes for the Miller Lite Classic as we see a great break for Ron Williams. He crosses over in the left-hand lane instead of getting the 9-10 split. He makes a little wilder shot and gets rewarded a strike. Now, Brian Voss, the more experienced of the two players, what is he going to do on the right-hand lane? If he moves to the right, uses a lot of speed, he can win the match.
Voss hanging in there tough, as he did in his previous victory.
Just what he does, moves the ball out to the right, a little less hook, drives the 5 into the 4-7 zone. We have a match. You know, Brian Voss is a funny kind of match player, Chris. When he's way ahead, he seems to fall asleep. When he's behind, he becomes very aggressive. That's just his personality, a nice, easygoing guy, but he has to get a little tougher out here on the lanes. Right now, he has a 10-pin lead.
And if he gets bowling like that with a little luck, he'll be back into the Firestone Tournament of Champions the end of April. Brian Voss, 3 in a row.
Well, do as I do. And here he goes, crosses over the left side of the head pin, the same thing that Ron Williams did. Has this 6-pin tripped out by the 3-pin. What a terrific break. The difference between winning and losing on a pro tour often comes down to who gets the breaks. Williams now needs another strike.
A little high, not crossing over, leaving the 4 on the right lane.
Ron Williams cutting high on the right-hand lane. Watch the 10-pin. Almost stands up. There's the action of the 3 and 6. Bump out the 10 has left a simple spare. The 4-pin, Ron will trail by 21 pins.
And thus far this year, 4 tournaments. This is the 5th. We've had 2 first-time winners in Del Ballard and Kent Wagner. Ron's mom.
Ron Williams, who has always bowled in the St. Louis area, has won a couple of PBA regional titles, the Midwest region being one of the 7 regions of the PBA where players compete in weekend action. And, of course, the Midwest, one of the toughest regions in the country, Chris.
It's real seasoning, isn't it?
That's for sure. Let's see how he adjusts this left-hand lane.
Lofting that ball out on the lane. And strike in the 7th.
Reminds me of Gabe Brewer of golf. He takes that swing back in kind of a funny motion, but watch here. He straightens everything out, tucks that arm swing down right next to that right hip, and rolls just a beautiful shot. He starts a little different, but he gets the job done. Ron Williams. Now Voss in the driver's seat. Let's see if he can step on the gas.
Four-bagger. There are a lot of feminine voices cheering in the background for this young man.
Voss with the opportunity to take a big lead, drives the 5 over to the 4-7 zone. See that 5-pin just snap out the 7? Voss has a 31-pin lead. He likes it. Now, is he going to give Ron Williams a chance? If he doesn't strike here, Ron Williams can get right back in the match.
A 10. Last year, frustration. 4th 3 times, 2nd once, 3rd twice in 6 finals.
Voss across lane using the extreme left-hand angle over the third arrow from the right-hand channel. Conversion here, he would lead by 30 pins. Perfect. Next week, we'll be down to Don Carter's Kendall Lanes, where I understand there's a lot of Pro-Am spots left available where the amateurs can be partners with the pros. We had 1,500 Pro-Am entries here in Dallas. Great opportunity for the amateurs to bowl with the pros. Here's Ron Williams, 8th frame.
Needed that double, leaving the 2-5-8. And in that amateur field, some mean professional wrestlers.
That's here in Texas, not down there in Florida, as Ron Williams needs this strike here in the 8th, leaves the 2-5-8 by no means an easy spare at any time. In this situation, it's critical that he makes this. We continually talk about the 9th frame as being the important foundation frame, and if you look at the scoreboard, you can see why. If Williams does not strike here in the 9th frame, Voss can get up there and just shut him out. If Williams gets himself a strike right here in the 9th, he still keeps pressure on Voss and has a chance to win the match.
Pressure shot, and you saw the pressure on the face of Brian Voss waiting.
Ron Williams, the last time he had a chance to really show his stuff was in the Showboat Invitational 1986, where he threw 4 strikes in a row to knock Ernie Schlegel out of the top 5. So we know that Ron Williams can do it. Let's see if Voss can put the pressure on Williams. He needs 2 marks to win the tournament. Anything less, Williams can still win.
And another bucket.
Well, he didn't hit the nose. That's been the undoing of most of the players. So he's left himself a spare that he's converted very well so far today. But once again, nobody wants to shoot the 2-4-5-8 bucket in a tough situation. That's what faces Brian Voss right here.
Well, things like that bring bowling fans back to try it again. They're just full of surprises.
That's for sure.
All right. And if you just joined us, last week's hero, Pete McCordick of Houston, who shot the perfect 300 game and $100,000, finished 42nd here.
McCordick, once again, almost made the top 24. As you see, Voss, he wants the spare. Very important. Now, for Brian Voss, a trip to the Firestone is simply getting a mark in the 10th frame. He would shut out Ron Williams. If he opens, Williams can win the tournament.
Three pin looks awfully lonely and small.
That's for sure. Well, Brian Voss didn't slam the door in Ron Williams' face, but he sure has a foot inside the door. He must convert this spare and get just 6 pins on the last ball. This is for the win.
All right. Brian Voss of Tacoma, where we started our 26th year on the Professional Bowlers Tour, the United States Open, won by Del Ballard.
6 pins. How do you get 6 pins? What I would do is go right for the pocket. Don't be tricky. We've seen players get fancy and get 5 in this situation. That's the way, Brian. Right up there for the 1. That's a winner.
All right. There you are. Got 7, leaving 3. 208. Brian Voss wins his first since the summer of '84. The Professional Bowlers Tour is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. Quaker State people reaching for the best. By Bic for normal or sensitive skin. An extraordinary shave at an extraordinary price. And by Miller Lite. For good taste, there's only one light beer.
Why do 32 million Americans protect their engines with Quaker State motor oil? Because they're car-caring people who want only the best for their engines. Here, Quaker State quality stands up to the constant pounding, heat, and friction that breaks down motor oil. You can see Quaker State quality, the pure protection that comes from our state-of-the-art formula that can't be beat.
My amigo Juan just came out from Mexico, so I'm introducing him to my American friend Larry and our favorite beer, Miller Lite.
Por favor. Juan, mi Miller Lite de gusto porqueria. It tastes muy bueno.
Larry.
Ladies, mi mosa calorías and no gusto filiopo. El comprende?
No, not really.
For mucho great taste, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Does your friend speak any English?
Why are you letting your cold keep you up? Toughing it out alone, shivering and shaking, coughing your night sweats, competing with a nose that runs like a champion, wishing you could breathe as well with your mouth closed as with it open, wondering what it was you did to deserve to be this sick. Why? When there's NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, so you can rest medicine. From Vicks, of course.
World champion Debbie Thomas defends her national crown live, plus the Women's Slalom World Championship on ABC's Wide World of Sports, coming up next.
Quaker State Open champion, 208 to 186, Brian Voss. Now you can buy new toys for that new home.
I can't wait. I've waited 2.5 years for this third victory. I'm just lost for words. Real quickly, I want to dedicate this to my grandmother who passed away a few days ago. This is for her.
Ah, beautiful. Glad your mom could be here. Okay, Phil Petraglia, Marketing Service Manager for Quaker State Oil Refining, and Jeannie Hull's the proprietor. Here we go, Phil.
Thanks a lot, Chris, and congratulations, Brian, for a super week of bowling from Quaker State, and as retail customers, I'd like to present you with this check for $27,000. And this trophy, which will last a lot longer than that and mark you as a Quaker State champion forever.
And with tears in her eyes, happy anniversary, Jeannie Halsey.
Hey, thank you and congratulations. We're so proud of you.
Thank you, Jeannie.
There are too many ladies that get to kiss the poster boy.
Don't get me in trouble.
On to Florida.
On to Florida, yeah. We got the Miller tournaments coming up, and those are always exciting. Boy, I'm just going to relax tonight and think about it, boy.
Congratulations. Keep doing it.
Thank you, Quaker State, for continually supporting us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, world and national champion Debbie Thomas defends her title at the United States Figure Skating Championships. This event will be seen live, except on the West Coast, plus the best in women's skiing as they charge for the title at the Women's Slalom World Championship. It's all coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports. Once again, the winner, Brian Voss, 208. And what a victory for Brian from Tacoma, Washington, 208 to 186.